It looks like the 13th Doctor has decided to give another interview. Wow, I'm shocked. She's trying to justify the PC, NPC, SJW third wave feminist shit show that has been the 11th series of my formerly favored TV show. According to Never Biased Metro, Whitaker perfectly sums up why Doctor Who could never be too PC as Series 11 faces backlash. Well, this should be interesting. The 36-year-old's first series at the helm has seen the Time Lord fight alongside Rosa Parks in Birmingham, Alabama in 1955. Actually, it's Montgomery, Alabama, before she later moved the nation to tears in an impassioned speech about love while she took on the partition of India in 1947. While I'm sure it moved many former Doctor Who fans to tears as they watched this once great franchise turn into a political nightmare, as for the Rosa Parks episode, you mean the one that took a legitimate story of racism, that of Rosa Parks in Montgomery, Alabama, and turned it into one of the most egregious examples of reverse racism I've ever seen, to be clear. And as I keep saying, nobody is trying to diminish the importance of Rosa Parks. But, for balance, why not show some of the many white people that fought against racism rather than turning all of them into the devil? We all know why. The BBC doesn't like white people, and it really doesn't like white men, especially if you're straight. You know the demographic that is primarily responsible for Doctor Who having been around for 55 years? You're welcome, Whitaker. Critics have claimed ratings are dwindling, which actually isn't true. And now the actual Doctor has her say, stressing in an interview with the Evening Standard that a drama, which travels through time and space, must draw on the moments in history that shaped the world we live in 2018. What's the point of making a show if it doesn't reflect society today? She asked while turning on the lights at London's Regent Street. Well, Jodie, you've managed to lose about 3 million people that watched the first story. I wonder if there are any reasons for this. Could it be that the show keeps crapping on its long-term audience? And Jodie, not everything has to be a perfect representation of society. How about we choose actors, writers, and directors based on their talents and not on their demographic representation? Although I'm just beating my head against a brick wall at this point, this is a fundamental problem with the BBC. The private entertainment industry has to create content that people actually want to watch. If they don't want to watch it, then they go out of business. In the private sector, people choose what they want to spend money on. With the BBC, people have money taken from them through the license fee, and the BBC, through a regressive quota system, dictates what people will watch, what narratives and hateful ideologies will be highlighted, and which demographics, generally not straight white males these days, will be represented. The BBC does not reflect society. It reflects what a bunch of leftist elitists and quota hires want society to be. And Jodie, why are you turning on Christmas lights? That's not being inclusive of people that don't believe in Christmas. We have the opportunity with this show, like no other, to dip to future, to past, to present, to new worlds and time zones. There is never going to be a drought in the stories you can tell. No drought in the stories you can tell. Then can you please explain to me why the 7 episodes we've seen thus far this series have been utterly dull and completely devoid of originality? I'll tell you why. It's because Doctor Who is now nothing but a vehicle to push destructive, far-left propaganda. I'm going to call these ideologies what they are, just plain evil. You don't even get what's going on here. You are dehumanizing one group to give other groups unfair advantages. Actually, never mind. I'm sure you know exactly what you're doing. It's always political. Chris is a very present-minded person who is very aware of the world he lives in and is passionate about storytelling. It would be wrong of him to not have used the past. He does it in a really beautiful way. Well, we had a lot of thoughts on the matter, as did Julie, whose last name I can't pronounce, who starred in the latest episode Kerblam, calling the PC backlash a load of bollocks. Chris Chibnall is only aware of the world from the eyes of the elitist, leftist ideologues that are now in full control of this program. A beautiful way? Well, that's a nice way of summing up your bigotry. As for Julie, whose last name I can't pronounce, let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do a separate video on her statements. Now let's get back to this bullshit interview. I watched the first episode. To see proper representation is absolutely brilliant to me. I was so buzzing off it because that's the world we live in, and to see it reflected on screens is like, finally, this is great. For the love of God, Whitaker, that's all you elites care about, representation, which in essence means making sure that certain demographics are not represented or are represented as little as possible. I'm sure most regular people who come home after a long day of work don't base what they're going to watch on how representative it is. In fact, I think droning on about it will result in them not wanting to watch the social experiment formerly known as Doctor Who. There's always going to be naysayers. No shit, Jodie. I've seen a couple of things that are absolutely preposterous. I mean, slagging off the series for doing an episode with Rosa Parks, which I thought was the most powerful bit of young people's telly that I've ever seen. The conversations that would have sparked all over the country. The ego on this woman. People are not slagging off Rosa Parks. They are slagging you and Chibnall and Mallory Blackman because they turned it into a piece of propaganda against white people. Oh, believe me, this episode did spark a lot of conversations, and I would dare to argue that it was the episode that made the split in Doctor Who fandom permanent. Wow. Words cannot describe how much I am coming to thoroughly dislike this woman. This article is beyond toxic. Maybe you might be leaving after the next series if rumors are to be believed, but this show will never recover from what you and Chibnall managed to do to it in so short a period of time. And to think, there was a time when we all thought Series 6 was going to be the new Who low point. Hashtag cancel Doctor Who. And that's it for today. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and check out my other channel. And as always, everyone, thank you for watching, and have a great day.